everybody. I want to welcome you to another episode of Scale Adventures, where we bring established entrepreneurs who share with us their journey, the behind the scenes challenges of building companies that make a difference. I have with me Jay, the CEO of Bolt. He wears many hats and does lots of interesting things. We had a fantastic connect conversation before this. I'm going to deep dive into some of his perspectives on culture, on growth, his own journey. So this is going to be a fun podcast. I think Jay brings both a human touch and a business orientation and a technology orientation. And you will see as we talk, it'll come through very clearly. Jay, before we dive into my questions, how would you like to introduce yourself? We find founders are best at introducing themselves, but just tell us a little bit about you and the work you're doing at Bolt, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure. So first, thank you, Akshay, for having me here. I think it's been a very exciting journey for the last 7 years. My name is Jayant Umrani. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and been technologist at heart. So I started my career as a software developer. I have also worked as an architect, and from there, I really stepped into getting into sales and finally thought of having my own company. So that's who I am.
You made an interesting point in our preparation call where you talked about building a team of experts and not just employees that exist. And I told you that you had shared some interesting perspectives on that. Just tell us a little bit more about how you were thinking about it at Bolt and what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think when you're in a startup, right, or where you're doing your own business, first important thing that you should do is what you don't want to do more than what you want to do. And that you have to be very clear about it. And you should be in a position to say no. Because typically what happens is you try to chase whatever is moving. Somebody has some staffing requirements, let me run there. Somebody has some other requirements, let me run there. Somebody's giving me RFP, let me run. So what I decided to do was I said, I want to focus instead of saying what I don't want to do. I want to focus and really create capabilities of solving customer problems. Because if those capabilities were there in other companies and they are not doing it, that means those capabilities are not there. Right? So again, the corporate way of building a team, let's have a pyramid. We should have all the entry-level people at the bottom, then junior people, then senior, and then one, and let's have a head-to-tail ratio of 1:2:10. I said, throw all of that out of window. That's not something I want to do. If I want to solve a problem, I want to have a solution mindset people. And I personally started bringing those people on board. Those people, I said, join me on the customer call. So it's not like I'm going to understand the requirements, go and tell you, and then you build and then we deliver. I think that whole life cycle is not going to work with us. You are going to be on the call. You are going to speak on the call saying, based on what you're saying, these are the multiple ways of handling it. This is a very low hanging fruit, which you can very quickly resolve, right? It might take you 3 hours to really do it. And this is something which requires fundamental business process. And it's not very easy to do a business process change. And then you need to learn the culture of that company. How many times have you changed your business process? And they say, we have never changed it. Then you realize that people are of a mindset saying that this is how it works. Right? This is how we are used to doing things. And then it is harder. Then you'll have to have a very different approach of doing that. So focusing more than certifications or technical skills and things like that, I started focusing on people having that mindset. Saying that when I interview somebody, I started understanding, does he have a mindset of solving a problem? Does he understand the problem and tries to solve it rather than looking at black and white in terms of whether I should do configuration or I should do coding? And that actually changed the game. Second, culture, right? Because culture is very important. And if you don't explicitly build, culture is going to get built and you're not going to like it. So I paid attention to building a culture from day one. And for me, honestly, it was not a big flashy thing about company culture. It was about a collaboration that I wanted. All senior people in one company, you can imagine how difficult it would be to manage them. Again, you can't use a conventional corporate management methodology to manage them, fit them in a bell curve and try to do their appraisals and all that nonsense. We don't even do appraisals, by the way. What I said is that the best way these people will stay together and work together is if you have a collaborative. And even though you're a senior, even though you might have 8, 10, 12, 15 years of experience, nobody knows everything. And that's the fact of life, right? So can you create a culture in which I should feel safe to come back on a call and say, oh, I have never done this. For example, I have never implemented Omni. This customer wants it. Who knows it? And somebody else can say, oh, I have done it. These are the steps. And now, as a senior person, I learned something. And that makes me stick. So as I said, our attrition rate is very low. The reason is people are empowered. They are in front of the customer. They are learning every day. It's a collaborative culture. We do not penalize anybody for not knowing anything because nobody knows everything. And so there is no heroism in our company. It's a collaborative culture. I will give you an example. Employee of the month and employee of the quarter, we select by voting within the entire company rather than me deciding or my HR manager deciding. And people give votes and they give reasons saying why this person should be employee of the month because he went out of the way and helped me here, helped me there, he does this, he does that. And that is, I think, what created this culture.